Hi, everyone. I wanted to take just a moment to talk a little bit about MLA formatting for your first paper. Now, I know you guys have already hit the ground running looking at personal narrative information and working with your ideas and the discussion board. I have been so excited to see all your responses and to hear from you and to kind of help you along the way. So I wanted to take a minute to tell you how to format your paper using MLA formatting. You'll notice in the resources tab in ULearn, I do have a link to OWL at Purdue, the online writing lab at Purdue University. They put together some really good tutorials and information about MLA formatting, but sometimes you just need somebody to show you how to format it at first. Because once you get one format down, in a Word document, you can actually save it and use it again and again. So here we go. Open up a Word document and you can follow along. If you don't have Word or Office on your computer or available to you, remember, talk to the IT department or the library and they will get you a subscription to Office for Mac or PC, and it's free because you're a student. So make sure that you take advantage of that. It's going to be a lot easier working with Word in college. So before we start typing anything, I want to point out a few settings. So feel free to open up a Word document and follow along. Again, this is a recording, so you can watch it at any time and utilize it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set our font. We're going to set our font to Times New Roman, 12-point fonts. Some faculty are okay with different fonts. I prefer just to use Times New Roman 12-point font because that's just the basic and it makes everything kind of consistent. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to expand our paragraph options. So on my computer, I have this little tiny button where it says paragraph settings. You can also get to your paragraph settings in a couple different ways. So depending on which version of Word you have. So I'm going to open up my paragraph settings and you're going to see you can set your indentation, you can have your alignment. We want it set to left alignment, but right here is spacing. This is what we really want to pay attention to because MLA formatting or Modern Language Association formatting wants to make sure that we're using double spacing. So we want to set our spacing to double, but this is the really important part that oftentimes people get frustrated with. We want to make sure that the spacing before and after our paragraphs it's set at 0. So before our paragraph starts, it's 0 spacing, and after it's 0. Otherwise, it'll add extra space in there. So we're going to hit OK. Then you're going to type in your heading. So this is the information about your name and the class and all that stuff. So the first thing you should put in there is your name. The second thing you should put in there is your instructor's name. So I'm going to put it in here for you. For me, you can just call me Mrs. Parmentier. But for other instructors, they may go by doctor if they have a doctorate or a PhD. So double check your syllabus to make sure that you are using the appropriate spelling and the appropriate association with their degrees. I have 2 master's degrees and a special ed specialist degree, but you just go by Mrs. Parmentier for me. I don't mind. Then you put in your class name. For us, it's going to be ENGL 111. Then we're going to put in the date. So the date needs to be formatted in a certain way. It's similar to, people have told me military dates and things like that where you don't need punctuation. So it's really important that you kind of think of it in terms of not needing punctuation, so it'll format correctly where you're not having words and numbers together so that you don't have to use a comma and stuff like that. So we start with the date. So today's date is the 21st. So you put 21 August 2020. So that way we don't need any punctuation, right? So Before we move on, we also need to put a page number in here. So you don't want to end up typing a manual page number. You don't want to put in a header or footer or anything like that. You just want to insert a page number at first. And I'll show you how to do that. Again, it might be different on your version of Word. For me, it's under the Insert button, and I come over to where it says page number. So with page number, I want it at the top, and I want it at the right-hand side. So I choose the third one. So before you do anything, don't click off it or anything like that. Type in your last name. Now you'll notice that the font reverted back to the original font. So we have to highlight that, go back home, and I want it Times New Roman 12-point font. This just gets you away from, you know, some of those little frustrating parts of Word, because I want you to focus on the writing more than the formatting. So I want to give you a good idea so you can just have a template, and I'll post this for you guys too. But again, I want you to be able to use this. You can save it as a MLA formatting template, open it up, start typing your information, change the date and stuff, and then save it as the new essay, so that way you always have the template. So when you start each paragraph, you want to make sure you indent, and typically your tab is set at 5 spaces. If it looks more than 5 spaces, you might want to check your tab under your paragraph button. So this is where you start each paragraph. Now, with MLA formatting, everything is double spaced. So if we didn't indent, we wouldn't be able to tell our paragraphs apart. So even when you're writing a personal narrative, you're going to have separate paragraphs in there. So it's really important that you indent so you can tell the different paragraphs apart. And I forgot to note that with titles, many times some instructors are kind of sticklers on titles, so having different types of titles. I'm not a real big stickler on what you have for a title at this stage, but if you know, as long as you have a title, it can even be essay 1 or personal narrative, I'm okay. So after your date, you want to go down a space, and then we're going to put it in the middle. So your title goes there. So I hope this helped. I hope this makes sense for you. Again, MLA formatting has double spacing, the heading information, your last name and page number. You indent each paragraph. You have your title that's centered, but everything else is left aligned. I hope this helps. Please, please, please let me know if you have any questions. I'll post this template for you in the ULearn course page to help out. But again, feel free to contact me if you need any help or if you have any questions. I'm happy to help. Thanks, guys.